Koby, you should quit your job and sell your house and move to San Francisco. We have ex-heroin addicts and cocaine addicts and gambling addicts. We have people on our app, they're like, I lost my house. That is why I downloaded this app, is because I went gambling this weekend and I lost $200,000. I used to smoke way too much weed.
Honestly, I hear every founder say that.
We solve a really, really deeply powerful problem. We spend hundreds of billions of dollars trying to treat addiction. I want to be the best in the world at building things, and I want to be the best in the world at selling things.
Ramen Talks.
Hi everyone, I'm Stacy, founder of Awesomic, and you're watching Sense of Awe, channel where I host inspiring builders, someone who builds and inspires us to do that. And today, join us for lunch for Ramen Talks with founders who achieved ramen profitability and beyond. And today I have a guest who is much, much beyond. Someone who became a founder at the age of 4. 2 times YC founder, someone who helped to scale YC startup Rupa Health to 75 million in revenue and now helping people to recover from addictions. Koby Conrad, founder and CEO of Sunflower. Welcome. Hi.
Thanks,
I'm so happy to have you
Oh my
today.
gosh. I'm so excited to be here. This is so much fun.
Yes, I'm happy to know you. How do you feel today?
I feel good. The world is buzzing, smiles and joy. It's gorgeous here in San Francisco. I love it.
Ramen Talks. Jesus. Ramen Talks.
What's Sunflower in one sentence?
Ooh, Sunflower, one sentence. We are building the sobriety platform for the future of superintelligence.
Describe Sunflower in numbers.
In numbers, 10 million days sober, 109 years of sobriety tracked every single day, 0 to 1 mil of annualized run rate in 10 months, and 13 incredible humans that I get to work with every day.
Okay, then follow-up question. How do you track retention?
How do I track retention? Oh, that's a great question. In all of the ways. We track D1, we track D30, we track annual retention, we track subscription retention, we track the retention of your sobriety rates. We track in every way we can.
Yeah, what I meant, I was surprised to know about you that you track the sobriety retention. So like it's not just people using the app, but people actually recovering.
I think it's one of the coolest parts of our product is that we're basically one of the only AI companies on this planet that's able to actually know whether or not you relapse or not. And most companies are tracking, did you stay longer? But we're tracking like, did this actually help you stop drinking or stop using heroin or whatever? So yeah.
So great. What is #1 metric you stalk daily?
The sobriety retention.
Okay. What's the most stupid spend you've ever made?
Oh, I spent $150,000 on a really horrible ad at Rupa, and we never ran it because it was so bad. Really, really painful lesson in content creation.
What costed you so much?
Well, we wanted to have a really amazing ad, so we went with this like anchor video situation, and it was supposed to be really, really great. And when it came out at the end, it was just this like Frankenstein project that was like super off-brand. And we're like, there's no way we can like possibly like run this thing. And so yeah,
Oh my God,
I know. I was like, that's like a house that I just lit on fire.
we'll talk about that more. What a great founders to like allow the learning and the mistakes to happen. Because I believe you would not grow past if you would just, get stuck with every mistake
Exactly.
you could make.
Thankfully, it didn't happen on week 1. I had built up some trust and we made some revenue before that happened. But definitely, it taught me to start small and then expand.
Ramen Talks.
You are an amazing builder since 4, like building all your life.
Yeah.
And then you're joining the startup. So you were first YC founder, but then you were joining Rupa Health as head of growth. And then you left again because of entrepreneurial calling. A few words, what made you leave?
Oh, what made me leave?
Like what was the trigger for your entrepreneurial spirit to say like, I need to go?
Honestly, I was very happy not being a founder. I really was. I really enjoyed being like a head of growth exec. I think that it was a combination of, first, I'm a horrible employee. Like huge shout out to Tara, my boss and CEO of Rupa, for putting up with me for so long. Like truly atrocious employee.
Honestly, I hear every founder say that. Every founder.
And I think for me, it was hard to like properly capture my value. I don't know if that makes any sense. I think your best employees are almost always underpaid. And I knew that I could do exactly what I did with Sunflower, which is like I could go spin up an app and I could take it from 0 to 1 mil in like 10 months. And then you go apply for a job that wants to pay you 150K a year plus equity, right? And it's like, but like I could just go make something that's doing millions of dollars. So even like the highest paid execs, like their comp package actually needs to be like 20 million plus a year in order for it to like actually make sense. So yeah, I left Rupa and I was looking for something different. I kind of felt there's also this element, like I felt like I did my job, you know? Like we went from 5 million to 75 million a year in like 3.5 years, pre-AI, which means that was much cooler. I applied for other jobs and had some really cool opportunities, but like ultimately I think that just like combination of the freedom of being able to build whatever you want to build and then just getting good value capture for what I put out into the world led me to Sunflower. Or at least it led me to decide that like I really should go start my own thing.
It's interesting what you're saying because I believe most of people like working with founders for companies, they don't understand that they are much happier than their founder.
Yeah.
And what you shared is like being a founder, it's a freedom. Freedom to decide what 16 hours you're working, right? Pretty much every single day. So that's your kind of freedom.
Yeah, huge shout out to my girlfriend on Valentine's Day that put up with me for like vibe coding for 10 hours.
Same. And same destiny with my partner. Thank you, Anthropic, for making hackathon exactly for February 14th. So thousands of engineers, the smartest engineers around the world, were building and no one was having dates.
Wow,
so,
that's
yeah,
wild. They're like, they don't need to go on dates. They can make their own AI girlfriend.
Maybe we can start eating a bit
okay.
so I don't starve you.
No, totally.
And I want you to know, be kinder for the upcoming questions. You know, with the judges. Hungry judges could make worse decisions. We want you to be at your kindest.
Do you eat breakfast?
I usually do. It's one of the biggest shifts in my productivity because for many years I skipped and then I'm like, oh, why I'm so dead.
Did you know this is the first in real life podcast I've done?
Really?
Yeah, I've done so many, but they're always like virtual.
And tell me you were never eating in a podcast.
They've never been served food.
What a genius idea, right? To chew and talk. Very elegant. Dear listeners, let's put some likes and comments and appreciation for Koby. So we're a good distraction from him not white coding, you know. So he is not regretting taking the time with us.
Ramen Talks.
I have the last question, actually from the lightning round, but we're already in the big round of open up questions. But if shortly, what is it about you that made you build companies and build things since childhood? Like for the audience. So first Lemonade stand at 4 with your brother, but first real company at 19, right? And then you kind of almost never stopped.
Yeah.
On and off.
So you asked me before, like how many times founders are you, right?
Yeah.
And I said 2 times because like that's the venture-backed founder track. I think really it's like most founders I talk to are like this too, where it's like a series of things and like usually we'll start kind of young. But yeah, I like to say my first business, I was 4 years old on the side of the road in Kuna, Idaho, selling lemonade with my little brother. And we saved our money from lemonade and we bought some chickens. And then we raised the chickens and we sold the chicken eggs at chess tournaments. And then we took the money from the chicken eggs and then we bought a baby cow. And then I raised the baby cow and I bought 2 baby cows. And then I was gonna buy like a mommy cow and like keep like replicating them. But we moved to the suburbs and I learned my first business lesson that sometimes you can't predict market forces. But I like to tell people my first business, I was selling Kobe beef, but K-O-B-Y, not K-O-B-E. But yeah, I think growing up on a farm just provided like a lot of like entrepreneurial opportunities, like grow things and make money. There was definitely like influence from my mom. Thinking back, I'm like, I didn't pay for alfalfa, and I definitely didn't buy the supplies for my lemonade. My mom was the first investor in my first real business at 19 too. I'm insanely lucky. She gave me like 20 grand. So like, yeah, go start an online hippie store. I had built like 500,000 social media followers, but like I needed to like buy product.
So we identify the role model.
Yeah. My mom and my grandpa. My grandpa ran a business. He made like Groupon, but like in the 60s and 70s.
Wow.
It was called the Michigan Consumer Society. And then I think growing up, like I sold Yu-Gi-Oh cards at chess tournaments and a whole bunch of things along the way. And then we've done 2 tech companies now, and here we are with Sunflower.
I was never into kids, but if my kid is like that, we can get along. Like I can understand the vibe. It's amazing. I'm not spoiling about you transitioning into that role yet, but let's a bit talk about your path.
Okay.
So you were. Let me formulate shortly something again from the lightning round. Why doing YC twice?
It was really dumb luck the first time around. Like it truly was. I was living in Idaho, and at the time I was the national advertising director for a big mortgage bank in New York. And my little brother just graduated college. He moved to San Francisco, and he was like, Koby, you should quit your job and sell your house and move to San Francisco. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. I was in a weird period of my life. I needed something new. So I did this crazy thing. I quit my like mortgage job, and I sold my 2,000 square foot house where like my mortgage was like $900 a month. And I moved to San Francisco, and all of a sudden I have like 9 roommates. Like I'm renting like a room that's probably like the size of this area for like $1,600 a month. And I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
Yes.
I applied like 300 jobs because nobody had heard of like the businesses I started in Boise, because this is San Francisco. It's like the ocean, not the tiny pond.
Yeah.
And I finally get a job. And then it was really cool. We were running like Google ads for this like massive consumer product. We were spending like $5 million a month, which was like really, really cool. It was like one of the largest like campaigns like on the planet. And 6 weeks into that, my little brother's like, hey, Koby, I applied to Y Combinator and I put you down as my co-founder. And we got an interview, so you have to like come do this with me. And I'm like, what did you do?
No freaking way!
Yeah, I didn't even apply.
Interview.
Yeah.
People dream about even interviews for years, you know?
I know.
I know people applying 5 times and never on the interview yet.
And I thought it was stupid. I was like, what is YC? Like, why would I do this? Like, I've started companies before. Like, why do I need to go through like an incubator or a school or something? But I love my little brother to death, and it was like, okay, cool, let's do this. And we apply, we get in, and then I'm like, well, I guess I'm quitting my job now to like go through YC. And our first company, what we applied for was called Quirk, which was an app for cognitive behavioral therapy. Yeah. My brother had suffered from a panic attacks his whole life, and the one thing that worked for him was like CBT. So, very stereotypical SF story where you come to SF and all of a sudden the magic slaps you in the face and you're like, congratulations, you're like in YC like 6 weeks later. I didn't realize at the time, just like it truly for me was like dumb luck and like a lottery ticket. There's no way I would have gotten in by like my own merits. I truly don't think. My little brother is like the genius software engineer and I'm like the marketer. And like you went through YC. I remember there was this moment where they were like asked everyone to like raise their hands, like who here is a software engineer? And like 90% of the room raises their hands, and I'm like, wow, how did I get here in this like room filled with like Stanford CS majors?
Same, fucking same, and mostly men. And I'm like also, I don't recognize anyone looking like me here.
Exactly. So yeah, the first time around it was dumb luck.
Yeah.
We raised a little bit of money. We pivoted around a bunch. We ended up ultimately for that company raising like $2 million to build a conflict-free replicated data type as a service. Really cool investors like Elad Gil and the Carlson brothers and like Daniel Gross. But yeah, my little brother, like we were pivoting around and like 4 pivots in, I was like, I love you to death. But I'm a growth person. I need a product to grow. Yeah. You keep pivoting. He eventually does pivot, does start another company, which is called SF Compute. And they're doing like really ridiculously well. But I went and I was like, I'm gonna go help my friend Ben start his own or grow his company. And I met Ben, who was the CTO at Rupa at the time, doing like jujitsu in the park during like the middle of the pandemic. And so I followed to work with my best friend. and he's a very stereotypical software engineer, whereas like super smart. He's actually super friendly, but just like not the best at like hyping up his own thing. So like, oh, that's cool. He's like doing a thing. And like, I didn't realize how great the Rupa product was until I was like inside the company. I was like, oh wow, the retention is amazing. They spend $14,000 a year per user. And they love it, and they've grown to 5 million through just like pure organic like word of mouth. And they're at this like really interesting inflection point though, where their growth was beginning to plateau, and they basically hadn't grown for like the previous 3 months. So I helped them.
Now you're about to answer one of my questions, so
Okay.
I will sneak in the question
Do it.
and you continue the story.
Okay.
What would you suggest a founder or an employee joining head of growth to do in this situation while joining the company, or the growth has stalled a bit and now you need to revamp? What would be your first steps if being in the same position? And what did you do for Rupa Health then?
I've noticed there's 2 major inflection points when you're building a startup. The first one is PMF, which gets all of the noise in Silicon Valley. It's like, I gotta build a product with product market fit. And all that really means is that you have a good potential market of users, and that you have figured out how to build a product for those people that they actually like and are willing to pay for.
Yeah.
The next inflection point is product channel fit, which is where you're able to figure out, cool, we have a product they like, but like, now how do I slam the gas on distribution? And the nature of founders is that in order to go 0 to 1 and be able to like start thinking about distribution, you actually have to build something that people like. So founders like very naturally will be very product focused, and they will like kind of ignore the growth skill set and be very focused on like, how do I build an amazing product? And what ends up happening is they'll eventually begin to plateau even with an amazing product, because eventually like the rate of churn will hit the rate of like organic distribution. So unless you have something that's just like inherently viral, it begins to plateau. So yeah,
Such a simple thing. Most founders really don't get it.
But eventually, if you can like figure out like how to get distribution, I think that's the next major inflection point. So they built a good product, and then we figured out how to just like maximize all the channels. Yeah.
If starting right now the same challenge, how would you attack it? And we are already switching a bit to the territory of your book.
Yeah.
So after Rupa Health, right, you helped to scale from 5 million to 75 in annual revenue, and then you left and you were writing your book, or in between, for 2 years, right? And it's actually a short book. So when I'm saying a book, it's more like an ebook that it's very tactical. I've been reading reviews and people are like, it's better than 3 to 5 marketing books for 300 pages I've read, because it's very like talking about exact product channel fit. And I'd like you to elaborate a bit more. What founders don't understand that they find in your book as a main insight, and how your book is a bridge now to what we see now in channels of growth for 2026.
Yeah. So I'm a really big fan of the Mom Test book. If you ever read that.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. It's like,
I lived it.
yeah, it's like YC Bible, right?
Yeah.
I ended up having like the same conversation like 100 times with founders like post YC, the first time.
Yeah.
And I think channels of growth was like my response to what I thought was like the missing piece of like the tribal knowledge within YC. Yeah, and it's just this concept of, cool, all users have to come from somewhere. Congratulations, you built a really great product for somebody. But in order for anyone to find it, there's like only so many ways that you can actually take that product to like massive distribution. Yeah. When you're trying to go like from 0 to 1 mil, there's like 1,000 growth hacky ways you can do to like get to like 1 mil. But if you're trying to make a product that does like $100 million of revenue or like $1 billion of revenue, there's really like a handful of ways that can happen. And like, sure, viral organic virality is like one of them, and that's something you can optimize. Paid ads is one of them. That's something you can optimize. Like UGC is like something you can optimize. Like hiring an army of salespeople or AI agents to go sell your product now, like that's something you can optimize. But for almost all companies, there's gonna be like 2 to 3 channels that is the way that we're able to like reach the masses. And you want to be able to go and experiment with what are the possible channels, and then like really identify like what are those 2 to 3 channels, and then you just want to like absolutely like slam the gas and like max out those channels. So the book talks about what I basically was having the same conversation with founders over and over again. It's like, cool, you build a really great product. How do we sell it? Let's make some hypotheses on these channels, and then let's get really, really good at whatever that is. So let's figure out how to like max out Facebook ads or Google ads or organic SEO or AI SEO now. And yeah.
And you know what? I've been reading your book for maybe like 2 years ago or something, and my team was talking to you, I know. My main bottleneck as a marketing / growth person, whatever, like we founders are troubleshooters, whatever it needs to be done, I'm doing to keep the company running and growing. My main bottleneck was attribution and the right analytics. It was always like, it's no matter how much we need it, team is always technical, team is either too busy or they're like, it's just not actionable enough. And that was my bottleneck in order to keep scaling. And me, the founder, again, just like pouring money, and it's becoming bigger and bigger amounts, and now like what the bet for $100,000, like how do I put it without the visibility?
And really specifically, where are you putting money? Is it like Google ads? Is it like organic, like building your social? Like where are you deploying cash?
Mostly in all of it, still testing. But the thing is, like with 2 years ago when I was more challenged, it's like, how do I understand it better? And what's happening right now with AI, so we can talk more about that. We wiped coded our own so fast recently, and it's finally really gives me what I needed. Without dozens of thousands being paid for things like amplitude. I'm sorry, guys. And like that's what we've heard all over. And my co-founder is like, no, we're not going to pay for like the analytics. And how do you see growth being built? Starting right now with AI agents, data pipelines, things to be tracked so well now. What would you do differently on top of your book if explaining the founders the new playbook?
I think that attribution can actually be a trap. The hard part about the job of growth is that you have to make the right decision, not being perfectly informed. What I mean by that, I'll use sunflower as an example, right? Let's say we run a campaign and we have an influencer that goes viral and his post hits 3 million people. How many downloads does that do? We have tracking links that he gives, and we ask people in onboarding, and we know, but we don't actually have perfect attribution. We can kind of tell. And also, how do you like track like the brand impact of like what effect does that have for him 2 years down the line when someone's like, damn, I've been struggling with alcoholism for 2 years now. I'm gonna go download that app that's rattling in the back of my brain. I don't even remember where I heard about it from, but like I know that this app is like what I should go and use, right?
For us, it was word of mouth for many years. Like we just know that they come from where, like from a friend, not referral link, not attributed friend, but like we heard.
So I think that a lot of like highly technical founders will often make the same mistake of being like, if I can't see it, I'm not going to deploy cash against it. And that can be like a massive trap of like trying to like max out your channels. So I think that it's like an art of like, how do you track what you can track? And at Rupa, what we would do is we would look at ROI on a per channel basis based on what we could track, but then we would measure CAC on a blended CAC basis. So we would look at how much are we spending and like how much actually came in this month, and we would measure ROI on blended CAC, and then we would use channel by channel CAC based off of, is this channel better than this channel? And it's we have to do something very similar with Sunflower too, where like the attribution on Facebook ads is atrocious. It's atrocious. It's so bad. We have a secret app we're spinning up that no one knows about right now, but which means it has no users yet. So I can see it only has like brand fresh Facebook ads, and the attribution is like 20%. We're only able to see like 20% of our users are being attributed back to our pixels, and which means that the actual volume is like 80% of people are coming from that channel, because I know for sure, but we literally can't track it. So it's tricky, and sometimes you just gotta kind of like close your eyes and pray, and do things that you have high conviction in.
Now, I have a question for you, and I guess all of the marketing people have the same question for you. Not to you, the founder, but to you in the period of being head of growth, coming to technical team. I'm the same, I'm the co-founder, but how do I take the stand on the basis of conviction, intuition, and like, we just like, you're gonna fuck around, you'll find out. Like that type of approach, but also that involves a lot of money. Like, How do you approach that type of a challenge? What signals, how do you listen to yourself, to the market, to actually execute the bet? I'm asking as more like fear-driven person in this regard. I'm just like hesitating,
Yeah.
double checking
Wait,
myself.
so are you asking as a founder, or are you asking like for like if you're head of growth somewhere?
I'm asking as a head of growth, defending the stand in front of, for example, founders, technical people, someone who's into data and measurement. And what you just shared, we know that, and also intuitively it makes sense. You can't attribute everything. You need to kind of see how it goes and flows and keep experimenting. How do you explain this to keep the bets big?
So first, you need to build trust. We talked about how my biggest mistake, I spent 150K and like did nothing. Don't start by spending 150K.
Yeah.
Start with small things.
Better not end with spending 150. Do it in the middle and then fix it.
Exactly. Yeah, don't do it at the end either. Being an employee is much different than being a founder. And what I would tell my like growth leadership team is that the reason all of you have jobs is because I was able to convince the company that we should pay your salary. Which means that like my job isn't just to win at what I'm doing. My job is to convince everyone else within the org that I'm actually winning. And if you can't, you can do good work, but if you don't get internal conviction, you're like dead in the water in a situation where you don't have absolute authority. So you have to do multiple things at once. You actually have to do the job and be right and execute really well. And then you have to build internal conviction within your organization in order to advocate and get more resources to be able to continue to win and execute. And the bigger the company gets, the more important that becomes. I think I was arguably like one of the most successful execs at Rupa. And it wasn't just because I was able to do my job right, but I was able to build trust with our executive team and our board and get people to give me the room to make big mistakes and make big bets and to be wrong and for that to be okay. And that came from like starting small and making it bigger and like internally selling as well.
Short follow-up here before we move on. What could be a few phrases or how you would frame the conversation when you're coming to CEO and you need to discuss some sort of bet that you have a conviction? Maybe team is already having some sort of conviction, but now you need to get their buy-in to spend.
You should know your ICP. Like it's literally internal sales and marketing. So
You're selling stakeholders an idea of doing it.
Exactly.
Do you manipulate?
No, just you should be honest. Like like you asked me at the start, I'm a very transparent human because if you can't trust what I'm saying, then you're not going to trust it. Like sales and marketing is ultimate. People like hate salesmen. I think there's something where like car salesmen are like one of like the most like hated professions. But like the trick is like someone in like a sales growth role, you have to like build trust with your team, which is like being ruthlessly open and accountable and honest. But yeah, I would, and part of that is I ran like an internal newsletter for growth. So I ran a letter basically telling the whole company, this is what we're doing, this is the results we saw, these are the experiments we're running.
Oh, nice. How big was the team?
I think at that point it was like 20, 30 people. And that went out to everyone from the CEO to all the engineers and customer support people. And then everyone could read through every single week what is happening with growth team and follow along. And they were like part of the journey as we were like doing this. So first is like, don't just do sales, also do marketing, and do it internally. And then know your ICP. Like Tara, I love her to death. She is a human with emotions that cares about things. Don't just like sell the thing, but like sell the emotions. So like if I wanted to do something and I thought it was a good idea, is like, hey, we have this competitor that's doing a thing. Like maybe we should like beat them. And my budget definitely increased when Tara was like really like, oh, I don't want to say screw this competitor, but like, we have to beat this person. We have to beat this person. Like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go from 200K to 400K.
I was sure. I'm like, would Koby be honest enough to mention like we're just throwing competitor's name in the fire because it's like the red cloth.
Yeah.
And ball is immediately
totally.
engaged.
Like, we have to beat this person. But then you have to do that with having like an authentically correct roadmap and transparency.
Yeah, and competitive in case that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not just let's compete with whoever in the top and be aggressive.
Exactly.
Yes, that makes sense, but yeah.
But yeah, like if you want a large budget and team and resources with an organization and for people to like listen to you, like you have to build internal trust and conviction.
Ramen Talks.
Did I tell you one of my companies was a cleaning company?
No.
One of them was a cleaning company, and before I got into tech, I was like cleaning houses with my employees and scrubbing toilets and the whole 9 yards. And it's crazy how people will not take a sense of a sense of perfection and like greatness in their work. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I like will go back to like my mom's house and like be raking leaves, and I want to like let the water like come down so it can like the water can like actually flow in front of it. And, like all the other houses, the leaves are just like piling up the drain. And I don't know, there's something like hardwired into humans, or we've been trained it or something, that like keeps us pushing for like perfection and greatness. And it's definitely a skill of like, how do you balance, okay, I have this vision for perfection and like this is what greatness looks like and I'm striving for this, not just in my company but like in all aspects of my life. And then also being like, sometimes it's hard then to be like, okay, this is good enough, let's ship it.
Good enough.
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
the phrase I'm thinking. I just don't have it instilled. I need to learn what is good enough. No, and I mean, you could pressure me to do something bad, like, I don't know, cook or do a tea or whatever. I could not do it just half, like half of it. It will either be best tea, like in best of my capabilities at this moment.
Yeah.
Like, do I have this honey? Do I have this lemon? Do I whatever? Because somehow my brain is like, we know that you could do better.
Yeah. I love that. But that has to have been like one of the driving factors of like why you're here today with Awesomic, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And same, we are bridging to addictions. I think that's my thing. I'm sure in it, because when I started coaching work, soon after I discovered my brain being anxious and all of the things, I was and still is working with Emmy, a founder's coach and the first batch director of YC. You may heard her talking about like founder psychology, scaling yourself. And when I started working with her, my norm was like, what if I just die on my laptop every evening? That's how I feel. Like, when do you feel productive? And I'm like, when I'm basically just shutting on my lap. Like when I'm falling asleep from work, during work, that's my lane. Not like 3 to 4 hours earlier to have some time, some evening rituals, excuse me. Like, my lifestyle was never about that. And again, I was living in Europe, working with the US, so it was always like working night and just from work to sleep in one single, even without efforts, it's hard to translate in English. I'm trying to like, what expression do I give you to explain it? That
Just
was my norm.
24/7, yeah.
Kind of like, that's just the norm. Like, I work and I don't do other things. And when we started bringing awareness to that, it's like, isn't it addiction? And therefore, what was addiction for you, and how do you understand that while helping people to recover from it?
I think that is one of like the interesting things is behavioral addiction. I think that like fundamentally like all humans are addicts to some extent. And some of us are like more predisposed to it than others. And usually it's something related to like this reward drive of like, I'm naturally just really wired to go and seek out reward. And I can funnel that into work, or I could funnel that into drugs. Drugs, for what it's worth, is way more destructive than work. If you're gonna be addicted to something, there's things that are better than others. So I do take an element of like, don't kill all of my demons.
Don't come and they're better together, no.
And I think behavioral addiction is like particularly nasty whether it's like food or porn or sex or work or whatever, because most often with behavioral addictions, it's something that you have to do. Like you can't stop eating, and you can't stop like having like romantic encounters unless you're like asexual, and you can't stop working. So like when you have to engage with your addiction and come to healthy terms with it. I think that's super, super hard, because when it's a substance, it's like, cool, I need to stop doing the substance. You can distance yourself. You can like go exercise and find new ways to like go chase for dopamine and reward. So the behavioral addictions are particularly tricky. But yeah, with sunflower, I used to smoke way too much weed. When I was 19, my first official company was like an online hippie shop. We had built 500,000 social media followers. I was making way too much money for a 19-year-old, and which basically meant I was just like smoking weed every day. There was no one to be like, it's 9 a.m., like, why are you stoned right now? So for like 4 years, I was just like high 24/7. Eventually, I like realized I'm a way better version of myself if I'm sober than if I'm stoned all the time. I love learning, and it's hard to learn when you're like stoned. And yeah, what I realized is that it's not that I am like addicted to weed, but I have a very high reward drive, and I'm a human with a lot of addictive tendencies. I would say that like I'm fairly addicted to food. If like food is in front of me, it's so hard for me to stop eating. I'm also addicted to work, and I freaking love gambling. And there's like all these like addictive behaviors that like live in me, and some of them are more powerful or worse than others. But it's a piece of me that I have to like keep in check.
What would you say leads to addiction?
I think it's a reward drive. I think it's that our brains are hardwired to chase dopamine, and we have these paths in our brain that's like, boom, I got dopamine. Oh, I want that again. Oh, I got dopamine. And the more times you do that path, you are building this like drive to go and identify like, this is how I go get dopamine. And that's literally like what a craving is. It's been like 7 years, and I will like ship something cool. I'll be on the top of like we work in like Embarcadero, and looking out over the bay, and it's gorgeous. I'm like, damn, I really want a joint right now. And
Why?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
What does your thought tells you? Why would you still need a joint?
Exactly. And the other question, like, why joint? Why not? I really want to go shoot up heroin or like smoke some meth right now, you know? Is because I had built that pathway in my brain that even still 7 years after not smoking, it's still there, being like, this is how I reward myself for like a job well done, right? And the trick is you have to build new pathways. Is you can't just stop doing the thing because you will still have that pathway in your brain. Is you have to learn how to like go find healthy ways to chase dopamine, because it's in our brain for a reason. It drives us to do great things and like reproduce and build great companies and like create beautiful things and build ramen shops. And so it's a feature, not a flaw or not a bug. And we have to learn how to use it in the right way. And this is one of the reasons why I think sunflower is so powerful, is that is what we teach in our app. It's not just, oh, you're only an alcoholic, just stop drinking and you're fine, bro.
Explain to me how it works.
Yeah.
How does sunflower really help people to recover? What's the number one insight that addicts need to understand to progress?
It's silly, but we gamify addiction. And what that means is that software is really good at triggering dopamine. Right?
You are substituting substance dopamine for your users in a way for gamification and software dopamine.
Yeah.
Am I understanding correctly?
We're redirecting it. We're teaching you how to get dopamine in a healthy way that supports your sobriety. So instead of getting dopamine by vaping or by eating food or by doing heroin, we give you sunflowers. Like, oh my God, congratulations. You're 2 days sober. You get a sunflower and a bunch of haptics and bloop, 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 bloop. And that literally triggers dopamine in your brain. And it makes you think, oh wow, if I stay sober, I get dopamine. And that really actually helps you stay sober. And there's reward to the tribe. You're in social media, you get a bunch of likes. That's dopamine. You get like a notification, like, oh, someone commented on your post. Oh, that's dopamine. You finish a course, you learn something important. Learning is a pleasurable act. And you get like, wow, I completed this course. Boom, that's dopamine. You learned something important. Boom, that's dopamine. So the whole thing is set up to teach you important lessons you need to learn, and to just like mainline dopamine as it relates to your sobriety into your brain.
Now tell me about the hardest step. In a way that we have the neural pathways and we have the repetitive behavior, then somehow we need to stop this loop, to start seeking dopamine somewhere else, and then repetitively keep doing this new consistent routine to rebuild your brain while being suffering, being low, having cravings, and there is this like period how you need to reshift your brain. How long does it take, and what's the main hack, what's the main trigger that can help the person to do it
Faster.
like ideally same day that they really take this decision? What I understand about this, it's like let me finish this thought. As I understood it, it's the same as our founders are asking, or like other people found us to be. It's like, how do I start? How do I start a company? How do I do this hard thing? And honest answer is like, you decide and do it. There is just conviction. And whenever the pain of staying in the situation, ideally, it's bigger than doing the new thing, you're like, I'd better still try. But with an addiction, when you're into dopamine cycle, it's not that much of a pain until you really face the destructive consequences. You were still early. You were not having so much, I guess, destructive consequences. What was your trigger for that specific day or moment when you're like, I'm losing something more, or how were you explaining to yourself, that's the decision I'm making and I will stand by it even when it will be hard during the next months or years?
I think we all get addicted to things for reasons. So it's not just stopping and like rebuilding your brain, but it's like really understanding like the cause of why you're doing the addiction. One of the main causes for addiction is anxiety. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to, they're like, yeah, I'm an alcoholic, but as soon as I got on like meds for like my ADHD or my anxiety, all of a sudden I didn't feel the need to drink anymore. And I think it's different for different people. Some people are like masking like pain that they don't want to face. So there is definitely this element of like, you need to figure out like do the work of like, look at yourself and like, why am I doing this?
What was it for you, if I may ask?
I think I just got trapped in the cycle. I think I just started and for me it's different for everyone. I think I just got trapped in the cycle. And that's another thing too, right? Some people get on like opioids, right? They break a bone and then they get like hooked on the opioid. So maybe like it doesn't always have to be so profound. It can just be like you started this and now you have this loop, and then but then you are asking yourself, why can't I stop? Like I know I need to stop. I know this is bad for me, but like I've relapsed 20 times now. Like why do I keep relapsing? And that is when the how to build like new pathways becomes really, really important. Is what I realized is I can't just like stop and then be like, cool, I'm just not gonna do it. I have to build new neural pathways and find new ways to get dopamine, because if I don't, the cravings are gonna be unbearable and I'm just gonna like go back to it. But I think the trick is, you asked how do you do it, is
what was your thought? What was your trigger for this conviction in the day when you stopped smoking marijuana?
For me it came from a sense of I just want to be a better version of myself. And it was I wanted to be a better version of myself, and I just couldn't stop. I would relapse like over and over again. And like the real learning was that once I didn't just stop, but I started focusing on how do I find new ways to like replace this in my brain, then it becomes easier. And then it's like, cool, I'm going to the gym. Like that's one of the things that like really helps a lot, because like going to the gym will like literally trigger dopamine in your brain when you're done. And it is like building, I'm going to use the word habits, but it's like more powerful than habits. Is like when you do new things, it rewires your brain. So eventually I focused really, really hard on that. Is like, cool, what are all the different ways that I can like go on trigger dopamine?
Ramen Talks.
We already discussed that what we share in common in a way from the grief perspective. It's losing grandfathers to alcoholism and grandmothers to cancer. I was thinking a lot about that because we tried to save their grandfather many times and put in like hospitals and so on, and it really did not help. And I'm thinking right now about what was it for him and what people are looking in substances, like beside dopamine, physiological thing. So losing the people we love to that, was it part of your motivation to start the company?
It's a space I care about because my grandpa passed away from alcoholism. My grandma smoked cigarettes her whole life and she got cancer and passed away. It's something I've struggled with. I think everyone in my family, honestly, has like some level of like very addictive tendencies, and we can like either funnel that into like drugs and alcohol, or like building big companies and like becoming athletes and stuff. I think addiction is a really stigmatized space. There is a severe lack of talent and capital that is working on this problem. And I think that addiction is like one of like the horsemen human issues.
Yeah.
When Rupa got acquired, like I could have just retired somewhere and just like stopped. But I have one more startup in me, and I want to go out like trying to solve something that I think is like really, really important. So the whole time I was going through my own journey, I looked at what apps and what products were in the market, and I was just like really, really sad at like what exists here. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to build something that I knew was like actually great. And yeah.
How do you think about optimizing the product, being the growth person, raising VC, meaning it's pressure, and like ROIs and metrics where you need to go. And on the other side, there are people with addiction, and they are your users who need to get more, and like now we need more addicts to recover them more. How do you think of using growth tactics for such a sensitive, vulnerable group of people?
Yeah, so there's definitely things we don't do that we could do that would make us lots of money. Like I think,
really?
oh yeah, totally. Like most games will have like whale users. I think like look at like character AI and stuff. Like the people that go really deep and like send 100,000 messages and rack up like $2,000 bills. We very purposely don't do that.
Okay.
There's so many safety features and stuff built into the app. So we are a mission-driven organization, which means we put our users first. And I tell all of my investors this, whether they believe me or not, that I will put the users over profit. You can come on board if you want, but the users will always come first.
Meaning no dark patterns in your UX.
I'll use a dark pattern if it gets you sober. I'm truly, if I need to use a dark pattern to get you to use this app and to sign up and to actually like keep you sober, I will do that. But I'm not going to take like our most susceptible users and be like, hey, if you want to keep talking to your sponsor, you need to keep paying us money. So our pricing reflects that. And I think ultimately we solve a really, really deeply powerful problem. We spend hundreds of billions of dollars trying to treat addiction. Like if I help someone like stop gambling, we have people on our app, they're like, I lost my house, and that is why I downloaded this app, is because I went gambling this weekend and I lost $200,000, or I opened up the poly market and I lost my entire 401k, and like I need to stop doing this. It's valuable for that person to pay us our $9 a month to stop them from losing their house.
Oh no, for sure. But I mean, you were already starting to answer the next question. What could be the craziest / strongest personal story for you that you saw in your own community?
I have shared and like not shared some of this stuff in like a bunch of different ways. And I think that most people like don't want to address what actually like addiction actually means. And there's so much stuff. There's like, I'm here because I'm literally in the hospital right now. My liver is shutting down and I can't stop myself from drinking, and I'm on dialysis, sitting in a hospital bed, trying to just find anything that can help me. We have people that are like lost their whole life savings and houses and stuff. People come to us when they're like not ready to, when they don't trust humans, or they're not ready to like talk to someone. We'll have users that are like, I was just raped by my PO and like I don't know what to do. Can you like please help me figure out like what I should go do next? And it's like, it's really truly dark stuff that like ends up being talked about like within our product. And but I think that's kind of like the cool and beautiful thing about like AI, is we You asked me what my one-liner was. It's like, we're building the sobriety platform for the super intelligence. Like, what that means is that there is a super intelligent entity that is like 1,000 IQ, all of human knowledge, who's like the Terminator, whose job is like, how do I help this person and keep them sober? And we can just put that in people's pockets. And
It's the best fucking AI agent.
yeah. It really is. It's a miracle. We can build a computer that you can talk to and it can convince you to stay sober. And our grandparents never had that. We're like entering markets where, you know, like sobriety is like kind of a contested space in the US and we have a bunch of competitors and blah, blah, blah. Go to like Venezuela. You know how many like addiction therapists there are in Venezuela? Like it's like basically none. We're in 6 different languages now. We're in Spanish and Japanese and Korean, and English and Portuguese.
We need to sponsor Ukrainian.
Yeah, we should be Ukrainian. And we're just ripping through markets that have no access to care. And it's low-key a miracle. And yeah, I think it's like one of the most important things that I could work on with the skills and resources that I have. So I see my role in this universe as like, I know what to build, I think. And I'm able to funnel venture capital into something that doesn't want to be funneled into, but I'm able to force that to happen. And I'm able to go and recruit people that like care about this really important thing and like assemble just like a world-class team to like go and tackle this problem. And
how does it impact you and your team, creating the space for dark things that you just described? I mean, they're beautiful and deep, but processing that takes a lot of resource and mental capacities of yours.
We probably should look at therapy as like an employee benefit.
You don't have it yet?
Not yet.
Highly recommend.
We're still a very bootstrappy, ramen profitable startup, focused on how do we invest money in the product and growing. The benefits are getting there. Yeah, just trying to make it good for everybody.
How do you deal with your team? Do you have common rituals to stay healthy? Do you discuss how to be sane? Anything? How do you lead the team that are constantly exposed to hard and dark things?
Sunflower is really interesting because we've gotten like enough hype between like YC and A16Z that we've like sort of like planted this flag, be like, hey, if you care about sobriety, come build this with us. And that has brought a lot of people that struggle with a bunch of different types of addictions to our door. And we have heroin addicts and cocaine addicts and gambling addicts and alcoholics, and like I have my own struggles. We're basically a team that's like 70-80% just like people that like have actively really struggled and like deeply understand addiction. And so part of it is there's like this life cycle of addiction where you like go through it and you realize this sucks and then you want to like help and give back, and like that's kind of the sponsor model, right? Like basically I built a sponsor, but instead of me being the sponsor, I made an AI version of myself that like talks to everybody. And so yeah, to answer your question, the team understands already because they've already lived it. Like they know what it is to be homeless on the side of the road and addicted to heroin, and now they're on the other side of that and they're giving back. And they're working to like try to make the world better. So I think that helps. And then we don't make everyone go through like we're HIPAA compliant. So like we have software engineers that like make sure the app is working, and we have therapists that like in a very clinical aspect will go through and like review conversations and prompts and evals. But so like segmentation of like who has access to what information, and make sure we do it in like a ethical way, to both protect the users and to protect our people.
Listeners will not forgive me if I don't ask the trendy question, as we already start talking your team and optimizing. How do optimizing with AI now?
So
I know you do. Tell us the juiciest parts.
I think all IC work is going away. I don't think there's going to be any more jobs for humans to do. Unless it is required by law. So like I think the therapists are probably safe. But I don't think like we don't write code anymore. Like we really have shifted to like 98% like agentic driven development.
Do you read code though? After it's written by AI?
Ooh, I actually think reading code, my spiciest take as a non-technical human, I might get flamed for this. I think reading code is a, mistake is the wrong word, but it's a trap. We need to learn to build systems without reading the code. Like if you can't prompt software in a way that doesn't have bugs and isn't scalable and doesn't align with your forward-facing roadmap, that is primarily an input issue. So you need to read code when you have messed up your inputs, and like that becomes very, very important. But we need to be able to build software. Like the perfect system is where I have AI agents that are creating features, and then those features are being pushed and being reviewed by AI agents to review it and to check the code. And then it's being pushed into our experiment system. And then the experiment system is an AI agent that is like pushing out the experiments. And then we get back the experiments, and then we learn things from it. And then we have AI agents that are like PR, like project managers that are like thinking of like, cool, we got this data. What are some more things we should try? And we just have that running on a loop where like the software is creating software to be reviewed by software, and then it hits real users, and then we get feedback from the real users, and then we ideate more things to build, and then that's just running in a loop. And I think that is the future. And the tricky part is like, how do we orchestrate that, and how do you build the system for that? Because if you do that, where you're like, cool, we rely on humans to read the code and review the code, then you're not building the system. Like we still need it today in order to ship out things, but it's a trap because we need to be like that is where the future is going to go. So we have what's called Operation Ender's Game. Which if you've read it, is like a kid who like manages like a fleet. Is I think 12 months from now, not 12 months from now, not like years from now, 12 months from now, that's the only role that's left at Sunflower. Is our job is to manage and build and operate fleets of agents, and we're honestly probably already like 60 to 75% of the way there. So there's a lot of things right now where the human is still better. We just launched a website, and I was fighting with my design partners about this, where they wanted to build this like big, beautiful thing, and I'm like, we will not build or ship anything that can't be built by agents. So like this whole system needs to be set up so an agent can take it from start to finish. And yeah, so I think that like, because what's happens is like, if the human might do something better today, but like the next major model is going to solve so many issues. And if you don't build the system in that context, then you're going to be so far behind, and you're going to have a really hard time like adapting into the next thing.
You know, most hot takes are pretty cold, but on this topic, I know because my co-founder thinks a similar way. And recently he posted the thing like controversial about not reading the code and not checking and building the system. Oh, engineers roasted us. So I'm already waiting for the comments, guys, please. And let's see what happens in 12 months. We have some sort of prediction here.
Oh, you got me recorded saying that now, so huh?
We can cut it.
No.
But I guess my last question would be, what was the main transformation of your life, and what could viewers learn from you, and on a broader scale, how to transform themselves into a better version of you? Because as I understood, that was your deeper motivation to quit, to recover, because you saw the better future, better version of yourself you wanted to be.
The main transformation of my life, I think I've always been very driven, and there is something in me that pushes me. So I'm like trying to dissect what is nature versus like nurture. There's a story, I'm 19 years old, I'm in Morocco, and I'm like walking through the Medina, and there's friends of my uncle that are there with us, and there's this lady that's like a New York lawyer, and she asked me, what do you want to be like the best in the world at? And my 19-year-old version was like, I have no idea, girl. I'm just here in Morocco, just like walking through and having a good time.
I'm not surprised from the question coming from New York lawyer.
Yeah. That really stuck with me, I think, through like my whole life. Is like, I keep coming back to that. It's like, oh, it's like that drive to like, oh, I actually could go and be the best in the world or something. And I think that might have pushed me down this path of like learning and developing and like how do I continue to be better and better and better. And yeah, I think the next most important concept would be like learning to fall in love with learning. I think I hated school. I dropped out of college like 6 times. School was always painful for me. And I think it's called Super Memo, but they have like a wiki and they talk about learning is supposed to be pleasurable. That learning is designed to trigger dopamine in your brain when you learn something. Like if I gave you like the lottery numbers for like tomorrow, you can be like, oh wow, I'm gonna remember those lottery numbers, right? They help you find reward and resources and partners and whatnot, right? And when I started chasing the things that made me happy, I think that caused me to be able to become really truly good at something. Magnus Carlsen, I might be butchering his name, but like the chess champion dude, he talks about this with his like opponents. He's like, my opponents don't like playing chess. Like they force themselves to play chess and they look at chess as a job. But like I'm just having fun like playing around. And I think it's so hard to compete with someone that what they're doing triggers dopamine in their brain, but when you do it, it causes you pain. Yeah. That is impossible. So I have completely like restructured my life to like focus on like just ruthlessly attacking things that cause my brain to be happy. And I think that allows me to like grow and develop and to become truly great at things and to like realize what I'm supposed to do.
Have you defined what do you want to be the best at?
For a long time, it was marketing. It probably still is marketing. But I don't. I now I feel like pigeonholed, and like people look at me and like I'm this like growth marketing person. I want to also be very very good at product. I hope that people look at Sunflower and they see not just a growth marketer that has some like CAC LTV arbitrage funnel that turns into a bunch of money, but like a truly world class, best in the world product. So I guess I have 2 answers now. I want to be the best in the world at building things, and I want to be the best in the world at selling things. And I want to be really good at both.
Your metric will be revenue for that?
Days sober.
Days sober.
Yeah, 1 trillion days sober still. Because I think the mission is the manifestation of those 2 things. Is if the only way to have a product that 1 billion people use is you can't growth hack your way to 1 billion users. You have to actually build something authentically valuable for the world. And then you also have to discover distribution. And you do those 2 things, and then we should hopefully be able to hit our mission of 1 trillion days sober.
At the end, I just want to tell that, they say that the stickiest products and the best retention comes from people's scenes. And that's something that goes on and on for generations. And it's really hard to build on health, on education, on things that make us better but requires going through pain and efforts. I wish and hope and believe that you and your team will find a way to growth hack our brain with AI superintelligence to really catapult us through the pain to understanding we could be much better and create a world of different quality of tomorrow with being clear-eyed and sober in different dimensions of our lives. So many personal appreciations from what you're doing, and I really wish you success.
Thank you so much.
Millions of sobriety days!
Woo,
Yay!
let's go.
Let's go! That's so cool. Thank you.